Hello everyone, namaste, and welcome to today's practice. We're going to do a Hippy Flow practice, getting into our outer rotation of our hips and also the backside and the adductors. Anything that relates to our hips and our pelvis will be working today. And I have my special guest star, my son Connor is here with us.
Hello.
Hello, hello. And anyway, he had a really big workout today, so he said, please don't make me sweat. So the purpose of this practice is not to sweat, it's actually to release those tight muscles. Exactly the point. That's why you're here. Okay, so let's start in child's pose. Today's props, by the way, if you like to pause after I tell you what props to use, grab a block, also grab a blanket or a towel and a strap. A strap can be a belt, a long scarf, whatever works for you. But we'll begin then here in child's pose, like Connor is doing. So child's pose, we just are on our knees, we sink our hips back, and we let our chest bow forward. If you like, if it's hard for your forehead to reach the mat, go ahead and place your forehead on your block. So just pause here and we'll begin to just let our bodies settle in, falling into our breath, and that just means we notice our breath. Breathe naturally. We breathe naturally at first, and then we start to deepen the breath. We deepen the breath by drawing the breath into the low belly, and here's a nice position to be, to even feel your breath drawing into the low back. Let's take 1 or 2 rounds more here. Good. And then come up to your knees. So you're coming up into hands and knees like you're in a tabletop. We'll work into puppy dog pose, which is a very similar shape that we just had in child's pose. Our hips are up in puppy dog, and then begin to reach forward. This is more of a shoulder stretch. Let your chest sink, and this is also a really nice place to use your block on your forehead, because this is definitely more of a shoulder opener. Keep lifting the sit bones up as if you're wanting to raise them up the wall a bit farther behind you. Good. Adjust your arms as needed, just to feel that length in the sides of the arms. And then take another exhale and really sink into your chest, opening the shoulders. Inhale, rise up slowly. Walk your hands underneath you, again, underneath your shoulders. Come back into a child's pose, but this time widen your knees. Bring your big toes to touch, then sink back here. Okay, we're getting just very gradually deeper into your hips. Reach your arms forward and let's come up onto the fingertips. Yep. So we're lifting up and engaging the backs of the arms and actually engaging all along the sides of the torso, the triceps. Good. And then take another inhale. And big exhale, release. Rise on up into your tabletop. Good. And here's where you can have your blanket handy. We will be using that underneath our knees for the next sequence. But let's begin by moving into your downward facing dog. So go ahead and curl your toes under, lift the hips up and back. Okay, and then just start to move around your down dog. Okay, you can pedal the heels, sway the hips, whatever you need to do to just stretch out. This should feel good. And at any time, if being upside down like this on your wrists is a lot, just come onto your knees, take a break, rotate the wrists, and then come back up. Okay, take a breath or two more here. Good. And now widen your feet on your mat, just by 1 inch or so on the right and the left.
Soften the backs of the knees and then lift your hips up even more towards the back wall. Good. And feel that in the backs of your legs. So just a gentle straightening of the legs to get into your hamstrings and calves. Now walk your feet back to your regular downward facing dog, and that's about hips distance apart. Okay. Lift the right leg up and back. Three-legged dog. Bend your right knee and open, stretch your right side. Okay. Extend that right leg back behind you and level the right hip down a bit. We'll slowly, gradually step that right foot up between the hands. If you need to take your right hand and kind of help your foot up, that's great too. Then here, take your blanket if you're using it and place it underneath that left knee. Lower your left knee down. So the blanket shouldn't be too thick, but just a nice padding for the knee. We're on our in a knee lunge here. Reach the arms up overhead. Good, and sink in. This is the front side of our left hip flexor into our pelvis, the tops of the thighs. This all goes together. Okay, then bring your left hand down. Okay, lift up that back left knee. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Okay, sink into the hip here. Stretch it out on that right glute muscle. And then we're going to turn and go into a wide-legged forward fold facing the back of the mat. Okay, so take your block, grab it so it's underneath your hands. So we'll bend into the left knee, not to fully squat into the left knee. Right leg is long. Call this a skater stretch. Then come over to your right knee bending, left leg is long. Good, if it's easy for you to meet the ground with your hands, you can lose the block, but let's come over to the left, bending left. But it is just nice to have that prop up if you need it. Come over to your right. Come over to the left. And pivot now to the opposite side of your mat. Lower onto the right knee and reach the arms up. Anjaneyasana. Good, so we reach upwards and now we're into the right front of our hip flexor. And lower your hands down. We'll lift up that back knee. Plant your right hand and twist to the left. Reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Okay, lower that hand down. We're going to pivot now back to that wide-legged stance. This time, either go back to those skater stretchers, just halfway squatting into one knee, or you can squat a lot. So if you want, you can sink your butt back towards the heels. Come over to your left. Just be mindful of your knees. If you have creaky knees, just come up to that half squat in skaters. We'll do that one more time on each side. So right knee is bending, left leg extends. Come over to your left. Come over to the right. Now pivot back to that front of the mat. You can move your blanket here. Okay, step it back to your downward facing dog. Okay, we'll just do one vinyasa here. Inhale, forward plank. Lower yourself all the way to your mat as you need to. Just lift up the chest, tops of the feet are pointing on your mat, and then up and back, downward facing dog. Okay, lift the right leg in back. Open, bend, and stretch. So we bend that right knee and open that right side up. Step your right foot up between the hands. Okay, start to straighten into your right leg in forward fold. So we're just staying forward, so pivot onto the back left foot and face all toes straight ahead. Forward fold as you straighten the right leg. Now flowing here, come back forward into your low lunge. Bend into your knee, look ahead and lift the chest. Exhale, straighten into the leg and fold. Inhale forward into that low lunge. Exhale, forward fold. Come back forward into your lunge. Take it back, downward facing dog. So simple, simple. We'll lift the left leg up and back. Bend your left knee and open that right side up. Step the left foot up between the hands. Okay, lift the chest. Straighten into the leg and forward fold. Okay. You can linger in any of these places. So come forward into lunge if you're ready, and then back to your modified pyramid into fold. Forward into low lunge. Lift the heart one last time into that leg extension. Come back forward, low lunge. Good. Take it back, downward facing dog. Okay, come onto your knees. Sink back into that wide-legged child's pose. So widen the knees, big toes can touch. Let's sink back into your child's pose and just notice the difference. Okay, reach really long again and come up onto the fingertips. Lift the forearms off of your mat. Then lift your forehead a bit off the mat. Walk your hands over to your right. So we're side bending into the left rib cage. You can sink a lot into that left hip. Taking that side bend then over to the opposite. So we're walking hands over to the left. Okay, and then really sink in, let the chest sink. Maybe poke out the right rib cage if that feels okay. And then come back on up and into that center child's pose. Rise on up and then come on to your seats. Okay. We'll begin with just a seated leg extension. So you can extend that left leg out. Yep. Bring the sole of the right foot into your inner left thigh. Turn yourself towards your left leg. So we have a slight twist and it comes right from our midsection, our core. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, hinge forward. Janu Shirsasana. So you can even reach a little bit longer with your left hand. And remember, you don't have to reach your feet. You might want to ease back a little bit, especially if you're tight, and just reach for the side of your calf. Okay, slowly come back on up to seated. Okay, we're going to add just a little back bend here. Take your right hand behind your back. Reach your left hand towards your left toes. We'll lift ourselves up. We'll be standing on that right shin. So we lift up the hips. We're standing on the right shin. Reach up and over with the left arm. And then come on down. You can sweep the arms just like it wants to go. However, to reach for those left toes, then come on up. Then sit back down. We'll do that one more time. So we reach out and then up and over. Come on down. Great. And then we'll switch sides. So your right leg extends, the left foot comes in. Okay, turn and lift yourself up towards that right leg. Exhale, forward fold. And again, ease in, especially if you're tight. Okay. Your spine should be long rather than rounding in to try to get your nose to your knee. Actually, it's better to think about your sternum, your chest reaching towards your toes. Okay, sit back up. Okay, place your left hand behind you. And then we'll take the right hand towards your right toes. Reach up and over, then lift the hips. You're coming onto your left shin to open up the front body. And then sit back down, sweep the arm to that extended leg, sweep it up and over, lift the hips, open the chest. Come back on down. And one last time, sweep the arm up and over. And exhale. Come down. Perfect. And then bring your legs in. You can take the soles of the feet together here. Call this Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Okay. Then inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, round into your back. So we're gonna round back, hold on to your shins. They're supporting you from falling backwards. And then inhale, sit up really tall. Exhale, round into the back. Inhale, flow back up to sit. Exhale. One last time, inhale. And exhale. Okay, coming back up to sit. Draw the knees together. And then come onto your back. Okay, we'll come onto the back. And from here, cross your left thigh right over your right thigh. Okay, so we have a thigh to thigh. Draw the knees up. And then either hug both knees. Maybe you can reach for the ankles as if you're holding onto handlebars. That's a really deep stretch. Okay, another modified version, just to bring your hands to the front of the shins for that. Okay, just allow your breath to help let that tension, you might be gripping, holding back. Okay, so just use that breath, use your just time and patience to nestle into a deeper stretch. Okay, and then release. Let's uncross that side, take it to the opposite side, so right thigh over left. Draw the knees up. Okay. And again, your depth. So maybe you're grabbing hold of opposite ankles or opposite shins, or just hugging the knees. And if your right hip might have a tendency to want to just kind of lift off the mat, so see if you can just settle it down towards the mat even more. Okay, and then release. Okay, let's end with one last stretch of the backs of the legs. So we're going to take hold of our straps here. So if you have your strap, I think you do. Oh, sorry, I took your strap. Okay, come onto the backs. Okay, we'll start with the right leg and take the strap into the ball of the right foot. Extend your left leg on the mat. If that doesn't feel that great that way, go ahead and just place your foot on the mat. That's fine too. But begin to straighten that right leg. Add some tension into the strap if you need it. But again, be very mindful. Try not to overstretch, overdo anything. It actually isn't that beneficial. We kind of have to let go of that expectation of that super straight leg, for most of us anyway. Okay, take another breath here, push a little bit more. Maybe the heel is rising up higher, and then release. Okay, keep the strap handy, but just take and hug your right knee. Mm-hmm. Cross it over to the left. So we're turning. Reach the right arm off to the side, and your gaze can go to the right. And then come back on out. Unwind, and let's take the stretch to the opposite leg. So the left foot, place it in the strap. The right leg is extended, or you can bend it. And then just start to find just some lengthening very gradually. It's amazing how some days you can have a little more
flexibility, and some days are not so great. Okay, and we just try to find some stillness within the pose. Take another inhale. And exhale, release. You can place the strap off to the side. Okay, tuck your left knee back in. Now cross that knee over to your right. Reach out with the left arm and gaze can go to the left. And then come back on up to center. Okay, draw both knees into the chest. And our last hip opener is Happy Baby. This is actually just such an excellent hip opener. It actually helps to relax the spine along the mat. So our legs are lifted, hands are on the outside of the feet. And we just have a gentle drawing down of the knees along the side of the body. You can rock side to side if that feels good. And then slowly release. Okay. You can turn yourself over to your right side and come back up to seated. Yeah, nice. We'll bring our hands to heart center. And I hope you enjoyed this hippie, flowy stretch practice. Thank you so much from our heart to yours. Namaste.
Namaste.